its fifth year, we race the new Range Rover Sport against a horse. We give a very lucky lady an extremely fast driving lesson in a Lamborghini Murcielago, and we're getting an exclusive insight into living with a £500,000 supercar, and unfortunately we see it crash.
This is only the fifth new Land Rover in nearly 60 years. The Range Rover Sport. It's more aerodynamic than the normal Range Rover, sitting a bit lower with a more laid-back windscreen and flush-fitting glass. The range starts at £35,000, but this top-spec 4.2-litre V8 with 385 horsepower costs nearly 60 grand.
You know, I've always wanted to be a Range Rover sort of guy. Rough, tough and very British. But there have always been better handling rivals to lure me away. Well, now there's this Range Rover Sport, which, according to their brochure, is the best handling, most agile and most exhilarating vehicle that Land Rover has ever produced. They've even had it testing around the Nürburgring racetrack in Germany. They now claim it's their best ever driver's vehicle. Now that sounds like the Range Rover for me. First thing to play with is the gearbox, a very smart, slick 6-speed auto version, which I quickly want to put onto sports mode, and then of course go to manual mode. The changes, they are pretty slick, up, and when you want to, down. And in fact, I think this computer's learning the way I drive, because before, when it wouldn't go down to second at this sort of speed, now it does, with a bit of a blip as well. The supercharged V8's got plenty of get up and go whenever you want it. Despite the huge weight of this vehicle, the acceleration is still amazing. And then, of course, there's the handling, the best bit of all, because this new Range Rover Sport just corners flat. It really has got the most amazing suspension system. It's actually a two-part system, because the air suspension actually gets firmer as it feels you driving a bit more vigorously. That actually makes the ride a bit harsher, but then I like to feel ripples in the road. I like to feel connected. The second element is what they call dynamic response. Now, this is a system which actually feels the car to begin to roll and then resists the roll. This is actually only standard on this top-of-the-range supercharged V8 version, but it will come as an option on the other ones, and it's an option you just have to have. This is finally a Range Rover you can take very seriously for its on-road handling.
According to the brochure, the Sport is just as impressive off-road. The high performance doesn't stop when the road gets rough, it claims, which we thought needed testing. But what could we use as a benchmark? Meet Star. It's been a while since a horse was the only option for crossing country, but it remains one of the best. So, how fast is it over our course? Star is a 9-year-old thoroughbred and, ridden by owner John Coupland, can accelerate to a top speed of 35 miles an hour in around 3 seconds, about the same as the Range Rover. The pair easily deal with terrain changes. This is genuine off-road ability with superb traction and suspension, good enough to let you jump any obstacle. They complete the course in just under 1.5 minutes. My turn, in a car worth 10 times as much as the horse. There's a host of presets for the suspension and diffs, but will they mean victory? Traction at the start is, frankly, embarrassing. You may see some Range Rovers conquering deserts and mountains, but they're crippled by muddy grass.
I don't really think these fancy on-road tires are giving me much grip at all, despite all this fancy gadgetry underneath me. Very little steering response on this wet grass.
At the first turn, I was already 6 seconds down on the horse. But when you get some momentum up, life gets a bit easier.
Oh, 30 miles an hour.
carrying that momentum downhill can mean sliding waywardly. But Land Rover's hill descent control automatically applies the brakes so you don't have to do a thing.
Oh, there's this nasty little hole which just about stops. I think, well, hill descent, hill descent, hill descent. Feet up everything, hands up everything. It works.
More time was lost spinning tyres, and with no chance of clearing the jump, I had to take the very narrow bridge instead.
Parking radar. I've got parking radar. Trying to accelerate, and the computers are saying, no, you can't. Too many computers sometimes confuse the world a little bit.
Those claims about the sport's off-road performance weren't achieved, but I doubt any 4x4 with road tyres would have matched our horse's hoofs. The car finished a minute slower. So it seems that old-fashioned sort of horsepower is still king off-road. But with this new sport model, Range Rover finally have a serious on-road contender. And I know which one I would want to take home.
We've always loved Lamborghinis. But the truth is, they could be pretty hard work to drive. However, in 2001, all that changed with this, the Murcielago. At last, you could experience a Lambo without risking physiotherapy. The clutch, gear change and steering were all pleasantly light. But now Lambo reckon they've made the Murcielago even easier to drive by offering e-gear. So what is e-gear? Well, it's Lamborghini's pedal shift system, a semi-automatic gearbox that gets rid of the clutch and saves a bit of wear and tear on the old left stiletto. Basically, you push this lever to go up the 6-speed gearbox and you click that one to go down it. I mean, breathing's harder. Now, this got me to thinking, could anybody jump into a 200-mile-an-hour car and drive it? Somebody who's never driven anything remotely similar before, but somebody who drives an automatic gearbox. Somebody like my mum. Meet Valerie. Hello, Mummy. Hello.